Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The second best of 3 for the opening day of Starladder Season 11 America. We got paiN Gaming versus eHug. I'm Zyori. This guy's Purge. Purge, what's up, man?
Not much. Excited for the next best of 3. I'm actually really happy to see these two teams. paiN had a really good best of 3 set in the Summit 3 qualifiers recently. And Team eHug has some super stacked players in here. Infinity, MSS is standing in. We have 12 playing, MJW, and Ryuza, who I don't know much about, but all the other 4 guys are really good. So.
No Yawar today. MSS a very formidable stand-in, but not going to get to see Sumail's brother. So, all right, we won't tease y'all any longer. We'll take a look at this draft and see what teams are working on here, but yeah, should be a very even matchup. This is another one where it's a shame we don't have Dota 2 lounge bets unless they snuck it on in there, because I'd be curious to see what the fans think. paiN, they were eliminated by Boreal in the Summit 3, the Summit 3 Phase 1. So they looked good, but we haven't really seen them in their full form, I guess, to make some Dragon Ball Z references in true form here.
Since we were just talking about it.
Dakota, farming hard, grinding his Dragon Balls. have some respect for the
paiN did really well, though. It was a really close best of 3, if I remember correctly. So like it wasn't like paiN played bad. It's just Boreal outplayed them a little bit, did a little bit better than them. And eHug, picking some weird stuff, man. The Zeus Witch Doctor in the first 2. What are we looking at here?
Well, paiN managed to get Axe in their first pick. paiN seemed to be really comfortable when they get the late game heroes. They love to grab a Medusa, an anti-mage, someone that's going to take this game 30, 40 minutes plus, and then really start to shine. That was their kind of fallback plan, and every single game it felt like in that best of 3 we were just talking about. In the game that they lost, I think they were just outpicked is really what it felt like, more than anything else once they got to that late game state. So I'm curious. I've got high hopes. First ban, Sniper and Batrider by eHug, and the series of supports, the two biggins, Venge and Lion, taken out by paiN.
So maybe eHug just wanted to guarantee that they had a fairly strong core with one of the few supports that are left over, since the other supports were banned. Earthshaker was the other one that I thought that came to mind right away when I saw the Venge and the Lion ban. So Earthshaker is not too surprising either. In terms of with an Axe, that's not a bad idea. Axe can catch AoE heroes, or catch heroes in an AoE and then clump them up, and Earthshaker can get an extra big combo there. So I kind of like the synergy there. But the only downside is, number 1, you've got 2 melees, and number 2, Axe definitely can't just jungle. He has to go offlane, because if you have a jungling Axe and a support Earthshaker, Earthshaker can't zone at all. So the offlane's going to guaranteed get a lot of experience.
Well, we'll see the next round of bans come through. TA third banned by eHug, and Spectre banned out by paiN Gaming. So both sides banning out some of these late gamers. I do want to mention that Batrider ban from eHug. Very smart against paiN Gaming. They love to grab that Batrider. They're not afraid to pick him up very early on. He's in a weird state right now. Some teams value him that much, and others will just totally ignore him.
It's down to the player. I really feel like, I mean, Batrider is obviously a very strong hero, but the nerfs that he's been receiving force you to be extremely precise with your initiations. You have to blink at the perfect range, and you have to not feed in the off lane. And people are getting better at playing against him, and if you don't get your force and then your BKB up at the right timers, then you're putting your team in a really bad position. And it also kind of relies on you to be ahead as well, because if you're ahead, you can take advantage of those lassos, but if you're stupidly far behind, it's sometimes tough to get kills. Like, it kind of depends on the lineups as well. So I don't know. I think it's mainly down to the players more than anything else. If your offlane player is really good, if your Batrider can do a good job snowballing in any way, then Batrider's a disgusting hero. But you know, if your Batrider's in any way weak, then you're better off going for different stuff, I think.
Team eHug thinking about this third ban, or fourth ban rather, quite hard here. A lot of options.
Surprised to see a Viper ban here. Why would that happen?
I think they're gonna pick Shadow Fiend. That would be my guess.
No, I'd probably say that slows are very good versus Axe maybe. I really like slows are the best way to counter Axe in a lot of ways. Venomancer is a good example of this, because Axe almost never buys BKB. So if you do get slowed, obviously you can blink in and Berserker's Call and stuff like that, but Berserker's Call is actually a really low cooldown. It's like 10 seconds or something like that. So yeah, 10 seconds at level 4 with a 3.2 second duration. So you'll Berserker's Call multiple times during a team fight, but if you apply slows to somebody and apply DOT mechanics to Axe, then he can't blink and he can't re-engage and can't get from person to person, kind of a thing. So slows are actually, in damage over time, are very good against Axe.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, Skywrath finally got banned.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that Skywrath ban. I actually was wondering why Skywrath of all heroes here. It is a combo that paiN have run a fair bit. The Skywrath, Earthshaker, very common duo. One that I know they're quite fond of. paiN also have a stand-in, not something that we mentioned. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but they do have a... Yeah.
Mudyazinho.
Sure, there's a more eloquent way to say it, but that sounds pretty close.
Why don't we call him Mud?
Mud.
So
we'll call him Mud. I like that.
Easy.
My name is Mud. Rubik, their second support, though. Lots of magic damage here.
Yeah, and pretty good spells on paiN. I mean, if you can steal a fissure, oh man, it's one of the best things on Rubik because the cooldown is relatively low. I mean, most of the other spells you steal as Rubik are really high duration or really high cooldown. But fissure's 15 seconds. I mean, that's probably the one spell where you're like, thank God I have a level 3 spell steal ability where you're like, wow, I can use this an extra 60 seconds because you guaranteed that's like 4 fissures, you know?
Yeah.
Like. Fissure is amazing. It's instant cast because all Rubik's casts are instant. So you're talking about instant telekinesis, instant fissure. You can chain those together. You can be retreating. You can initiate. It's one of the best basic abilities in the game. So Rubik's stealing fissure is fantastic. If you can get fissure, you're looking at a good time. Even stealing Berserker's Call is sometimes good. Culling Blade can be useful, but it's kind of an early Rubik pick. I mean, fissure is obviously fantastic, but they've only got 2 heroes. I think they're more just concerned that all the best supports are kind of gone right now, so they're going to try to focus on just grabbing the good supports now and not revealing their draft.
Well, now paiN Gaming, they're going to take a while to think about this. They need their second support and quite a few cores. So a lot of different ways they could take this draft. Troll Warlord, still in the pool. I don't know if he's a great pick here, as they don't have too many right clickers in terms of that blind really making a difference.
Yeah, I mean, Death Ward's still going to go through blind. That doesn't matter. Zeus does all magic damage, so he doesn't care about blind. They've got really good stuns right now with the cask as well as Rubik. In some ways, melee carries are a little... I would say melee carries fear Witch Doctor stun a bit more, generally, just because they're probably more likely to be by creeps, whereas range heroes can control their position a bit better. So I think Troll's maybe not the best here. It's okay with Axe, maybe, but there's no other synergy on their team for a Troll, so I don't think it's worth it. Queen of paiN, I like this. A lot of right-click damage. All the supports on eHug are low armor. It gives Rubik good steal possibilities, especially with Blink and the Quap ult, but I think Quap is pretty good at snowballing against Witch Doctor, and it is pretty good against Zeus as well. Doesn't have to stay longer than she wants to. Yeah,
should be able to lane decently against Zeus, and the nice thing about this hero is just one rotation from Earthshaker. Once she hits 6, a fissure will set up a kill on the Zeus. Easy peasy. So there's a lot of kill potential roaming around the lanes, especially if she lucks into a haste rune or something earlier than usual. But eHug, they'll be the ones to grab the late gamer first. They grab Anti-Mage with their 4th pick.
So Anti-Mage is not as good as against Quap as it used to be. It used to be one of the hardest counters just because she did all magic damage essentially. But now her ultimate does pure damage, which cuts right through his 3rd skill, Spell Shield. So Queen of paiN can definitely gank Anti-Mage, and a lot of it comes down to the Orchid timing. If Queen of paiN grabs a very fast Orchid way before Anti-Mage gets his Manta, then we're talking about a lot of dead Anti-Mages. So if she can get her Orchid, if she can do really well in the mid lane with ganks, get a fast Orchid, get ganks off on the Anti-Mage, we're talking a good time. If Anti-Mage does decently, gets a fast Manta timing, he's very resistant to Queen of paiN's damage, excluding her ulti, but that's not that big of a deal. If we do like a disable on Queen of paiN and Anti-Mage goes in with a Manta, she's going to burn all of her mana pool, and then you can just ulti her and kill her. So it kind of goes both ways. It all kind of depends on how the early game goes. If Quap does really good, Anti-Mage is going to have a bad time. If Anti-Mage does really good, Quap's probably going to have a bad time.
Well, now we've got the 4th pick out for paiN Gaming. A great support against the Anti-Mage is always the Disruptor. You can get Vision, you can glimpse him back after Blink. You can start the initiation with the Static Storm. Good way to lock him down with a nice juicy AoE silence. Always a good pick here against AM.
He's really good against Witch Doctor as well, I would say, because Witch Doctor death warding is going to be very difficult. You almost have to do it from within trees, because there's a really high chance that Disruptor will catch you with his ulti, which silences in the AoE. It's such a big AoE that there's a pretty good chance of just making sure that Witch Doctor can't cast anything. And a low HP hero with low armor that relies on casting being silenced is just, fish in a bucket for the Quap, who's going to Sonic Wave right through the whole thing. So. Disruptor's pretty good against the heroes that eHug has, and he's really good against Zeus as well. Zeus, another fairly low HP depending on where he is in his item build, and relies on casting to be effective. So Disruptor could really wreck this game if he has a good game.
Here's a hero that has really fallen off. I know PPD was on record saying that Tide is just not in a good place right now. We have seen him go from first pick, first ban to the bottom of the barrel.
Really?
Maybe you see him once every 10, 15 games or so. That's the way it's been in the games I've cast recently.
How did he get nerfed last time? Do you remember?
I don't think he took a huge nerf to the face.
Was it like Anchor Smash AoE or something?
That did change, but that was a while ago. That was at least like 2 or 3 patches ago. Yeah.
They nerfed
Coddlegurg. They nerfed the refresher. That was one of them. The
Oh,
golems,
yeah,
yeah,
right.
that was the big change. The golem buff. So now you can't stack ancients and kill them.
It was more indirect. It wasn't as direct.
Yes,
nerfs to the hero. So, but they're still playing him.
Yeah, and I mean, he can still be very potent. And it's also, as we talked about with offlaners, there's sort of those two styles that work really well, and Tide is somewhere in the middle. He can find recovery farm, but it's contingent on having a big fatty ancient stack to really find that recovery farm. He still can't turbo farm like a Bat Rider can. And if you totally zone him out, he's tanky, but if you just stop him from getting a blink, he can't really do all that much.
He's pretty good against the supports that paiN is dealing with as well. We're talking about a Disruptor and an Earthshaker. If you Ravage on top of these guys, those are heroes that kind of need to not be stunned to be able to set their stuff down. But in the same vein, Disruptor counters Tidehunter, because if you stun Tide and drop the ulti with the kinetic field, he can't actually Ravage through that. So there's a lot of interesting gameplay mechanics coming into this game. There's a lot of things that counter the opposite team depending on the circumstances. We'll see how that turns out.
Absolutely. So looking at the lanes here, how will things go? Johnny Walker, this is Tralf, by the way, not a stand-in, but just refuses to use his real name for whatever reason. Gets a ward down inside of the tree line at the bottom. Not going to block out any camps. Will make life a little bit easier for this offlane Tidehunter, who's played by MJW. Infinity will take the Zeus mid, so that leaves their safe lane farmer MSS on the anti-mage, and Ryu Zaw. He'll be here on the Rubik to support in the safe lane, it looks like.
He's actually going to block his own large camp here. I'm pretty sure this blocks, like 80% sure. This is done a lot of times by safe lanes. It's kind of weird for him to block this here. It's a little peculiar. It's going to help them spot. Maybe they're expecting an aggressive tri-lane or something. And that's kind of what it seems like, actually. You can exploit a Tide off lane a lot of the time, so maybe this is why they're expecting a tri-lane. But if they block this camp, then they can't do the sideways pull.
Here we go. Fight breaking out to get things started. Baga stunned up by the coconut as it goes bouncing around.
Fisher.
Who's actually going to go down first? It's going to be the Zeus, but he gets denied. Very nicely done. They may still find another one, though. Johnny Walker. Can he find solace in the bottom of the bottle? Maybe. He'll live. Wow, just barely. Even with Ryu Zaw getting in his way.
Is he going to try a fissure here for the kill? Ooh. Ooh, no, he's not going to. 2 blocks there by the Rubik. A bit of a mistake from him, but the fight didn't go so hot there. It was decent Witch Doctor cast bounce. I mean, he caught 3 people with it, but the Zeus was a little bit out of position. Super sick deny, though, by the anti-mage. That's one of the very few spells that you can actually deny right now is the Quap Dagger. They remove more and more with time. So it's
what are we down to? Basically, like, I know Viper Strike is up there. I know Veno's on the list.
You can't deny Viper Strike, actually, I don't believe. It's just Venomancer. I don't think so. I think it's just Venomancer and Doom and Quap Dagger. I think they removed something else recently as well.
Is there anything you can't deny people against Viper? Does Poison Attack give you deny possibilities? I feel like you can deny against Viper, or am I just?
I don't think you can. I think it's just Venomancer and Quap and Doom and very few others. There's. Wow. Yeah, a long time ago, Venomancer had the same ability that Quap had her first one. The
yeah, I remember that.
That was a long
back
time
in
ago,
the day. Yeah, that's way back.
Gale, that was before Gale did AoE.
That was back when Coddle Guy was still a preteen.
I don't know about that one. All right, Tidehunter hitting level 2 here, almost level 3. He's doing a decent job getting experience here, and again, that's a Earthshaker that has to zone him or with a Disruptor, so not a lot's gonna happen. He actually uses a smoke for this. This is kind of costly in terms of investment, but if they can do the block, he's stuck. But he's got boots. He's got 1 Kraken shell. He's using Anchor Smash. This is pretty bad here. We'll see the fissure anytime soon. And decent damage here. There's the slow, and yet another bash. Wow, 2 bashes, and that's going to be a dead.
1 lucky void. There's your first blood. 4DR draws it. And good way to get this started. Your safe lane Void drawing a first blood. His farm feeling pretty good. Now back to the mid.
Gank on Quap.
HFN in some trouble. No blink for another 5. Good Coconut flies in. This should be a kill. Double damage. Witch Doctor needs 1 more. Can he find it? Oh, mama, that was close.
Yeah, Infinity pulled back and I was confused, but he was actually out of mana, so he said, well, go for that, man. And that almost gives Witch Doctor 3. I believe he got soul experience on that, so a big kill there. I think that was actually Quap blinking aggressively because their blink was on cooldown, so I think she blinked aggressively going for the kill with a double level and Shadow Strike, which gives you a lot more damage output. and didn't work out. And MJW says, well, I died in the off lane. Time to go pull. Because if you looked at the creep equilibrium when he died, it wasn't pushing towards his tower. So that means if he TPs back to the lane, he actually doesn't do anything other than maybe stack Ancients. So instead, he's going to stack Ancients, and he's going to start jungling. He's got 2 levels in Anchor Smash and 1 Kraken, which is not that bad. He can actually get some farm out of this. So he's in an okay place. Despite him dying there, he got level 3 before he died, and he might be able to turn this into like decent farm.
Yeah, this reminds me of that kind of ice style of offlaner where he's not afraid to take a couple of deaths in the lane if it means he's able to secure that fast level 6 or whatever his primary objective is. And maybe for Tide it'll all be worth it if he can pop out of the jungle in a few minutes time and have level 6, a little bit of progress towards a Blink Dagger. Still very recoverable.
It's getting help too from the Witch Doctor, which makes a big difference. He's even going to cask for this. Again, he's not going to steal the farm if he can help it, but the most important thing is just getting these killed at a fairly reasonable time, because it would take him way too long with only 2 anchors. So he's going to get a lot of gold out of this, possibly Tranquil Boots or an Arcane, or maybe even a bottle. Something like that would be good. I mean, he'll pick up level 4 as well, shift back in the off lane, and then be a nuisance to those supports again.
Yeah, so looking into the safe lane here, MSS farming quite nicely as you'd expect. The off-lane Shaker, we've seen this also rise into popularity in recent weeks. Great, same reason why the Clockwork is. You can play with that creep equilibrium as we've talked about a few times with your fissure blocks. You can almost always find a fast level 2 with your solo off-lane Shaker, usually level 3, and I've actually seen it work pretty well, even though it seems a little unconventional.
And it's not necessarily an offlane Shaker, it's more like the axe is like, I'm going to get way more from jungling, so if one of you guys wants to go top and try to sap experience, you can.
Yeah.
And Earthshaker might get a last hit or 2 from this, but most importantly, he's just trying to get levels. So if the wave happens to push up, he can grab a level or 2. And I think he was probably roaming around and said, whatever, I'm just going to go top.
Yeah, I think this one is a little bit more of a hybrid, but we actually have seen like the level 1, not a core Shaker, but it's like a position 3 Shaker who's actually the dedicated offlaner with 2 other supports like in the safe lane. So this is sort of a, I think paiN might have done it the other day actually, if memory serves. So this is kind of a hybrid in the middle where he can trade off with the axe. It's worked well for Tavo though. He's halfway through 3, has about 1,000 gold saved up. No, does he have tranquils somewhere? I always do this with axe. I'm like, oh my god, how does he not have any items? Oh, they're on the ground. Ugh, such a silly.
Yeah, I think he's about to build them.
Yeah, I think he's
it's
just
still
about
pretty
to.
early. He's got 15 CS and that should be.
He's
like,
off to a pretty good start though.
Yeah,
Just keeps up, he's
doing okay.
good.
Tide's maybe let's just check net worths. They're actually very, very similar. So despite Tide dying, he's actually caught up slightly decently. I think this is gonna not be too bad for him. The downside is that Faceless Void almost has his Midas, and it's really early at 4 minutes here. But if there's any hero that can catch up and farm, it's going to be Anti-Mage. But the downside is that Void is actually a counter to Anti-Mage.
Wow,
in a lot of ways.
He can actually have a 4-minute Midas here. I mean, First Blood will do that to you. It's a Midas rush with just Stout Shield tangos, but I feel like 4 minutes is almost as fast as you can get it, unless you're like doing some sort of a cheesy Shen Luna all-in tower push or something.
No, you got to go for the pool one tango, no other items into a Midas with First Blood and Bounty Rune. That's the fastest way.
That's true. Then maybe you can get that like 3.5, but this is a little ridiculous.
It's really fast. So the Void mostly counters Anti-Mage for the fact that he has hard lockdowns and he has a Chronosphere. The downside is that he does magic damage with Bash, and that's reduced by Anti-Mage's passive. So, but the hard disables are the main thing that Void has that goes for him. But he's going to be really good at picking off a lot of heroes. Rubik, Witch Doctor, even Zeus are all heroes that Void can prey on.
Yeah, they also have really good synergy with the Chronosphere. You've got the long-range Fissure to poke in for extra damage, of course, Quap, and then the Disruptor, huge amounts of AoE damage they can dump into the Chrono.
Or they can even just use it for disable. Chronosphere for 4 seconds, and then immediately afterwards drop Static Storm and Static Field. Prevents them from blinking for another 4 seconds. So they have a lot of really good ways to gank Anti-Mage. So we're going to try going again here. A little bit of lag from him.
With it. Sparky the Wonder Hamster. Looks like they forgot to put the magic spice in his water bottle today. Let's see if he can keep these servers running.
So if nothing's going on, Disruptor's going to stack a camp, going to go check the rune afterwards. He'll find a bounty. Infinity picks up a haste rune, really good rune to have in the early game. Should guarantee that he doesn't die to Quap. And he'll cover that, see if anybody needs it. But Quap is about to bring out her bottle. She doesn't really need it, so no big thing. We'll see where Tide goes after this. He's actually going straight back to the jungle, but oh, maybe not. Deviates a bit, going towards mid. He's got a bottle of his own, so that means he can actually jungle pretty much a really long time, especially with 2 levels of Kraken now. He's got double the damage block.
4.5 minute Midas is the official timing for 4DR. He is in free farm heaven here. Seems Tide just has no interest in coming down to the lane and will focus on his own farm. Looking at the Dire safe lane, MSS on the anti-mage. He's picked up that Ring of Health. Most likely the beginnings of a fast Battle Fury. Pretty standard anti-mage stuff here. So.
Yep, and he's going the dubbed Burning build, the 1-1-1 build, one of each skill, and then a lot of stat points. And you get this just so that you have a lot more HP and a bit more damage than you would have before. If you go all skill points and your actual skills, especially into Spell Shield, you're not getting a lot of value for every extra point that you put into Spell Shield.
Great 1-point wonder. Starts at 26%.
Yeah. It's like, hey, do you want a free Hood of Defiance for 1 skill point? Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's true.
And Rubik pulling now. He stacked the small camp first. He has to do this now because they block the large camp. That's the downside to blocking your own camp. So this means he's going to get less gold and less experience every time he pulls, but it's easier to pull in some ways. But
yeah,
he has to prepare it a lot earlier in advance. So there's negatives and positives.
It's a little unfortunate. Perhaps they were thinking there would be more of a stable lane up in the top. Earthshaker, he's had to leave the lane. His creep equilibrium is way into the tower, nowhere where he wants to be farming. So he'll just station up in the mid, at least found his level 3. So all things considered, he's rather happy right now.
It's actually not stacking. I think he's just waiting for the rune spawn, I suppose.
Yeah, he's just hanging out here, maybe
Do
anticipating.
both, okay. Oh, and even an ancient block here with a sentry ward over here. So nice ancient blocking, which is going to prevent Witch Doctor from stacking ancients in preparation for the anti-mage. Oh,
he hates Infinity.
Wow.
Whoa, he still gets the rune, but it's going to cost him his life here. He's fast, but now he's dead. So, okay.
Like, wow. Trying to shoot a speeding bullet there, but they got him. They did enough damage, so.
Yeah.
He thought there was just going to be one hero, but there wasn't.
That was very brave.
It was extremely brave. He's like, I'm going to dodge this kinetic field and everything's going to be fine. They just DPS'd right through it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was laughing on Skype to his teammates. So he's like, haha, they're all... I don't know, that's a perfect laughing moment for a mid-hero.
Yeah, I always think of one of the first things Merlini told me is all those haste runes. Man, are they a double-edged sword for pro players. You get that God mode syndrome where you're feeling like, I'm moving at max speed, boys. They can't catch me. I got this.
Yeah.
But it does not make you invulnerable, unfortunately.
So 12 attempts, another stack here.
Yeah.
This one's going to really reveal that it's blocked, but the downside... But the sentry's almost gone anyway, so it's a bit of a waste. Wow, Quap gets killed here. Where is she?
Mid lane.
It's
just a solo kill from Infinity. He drops the ultimate, and HFN not doing the math.
Feeds his life away and is like, screw this, I'm going to outplay you. And then he gets the solo kill. That's Infinity, guys. He's a really good player.
He's all bait, making him think that he's tilted or not in the right state of mind. And
trying to butter up the Quap a little bit more so you got more comeback gold from the kill.
There you go. That must be what it was. He's got his Soul Ring bottle, so Zeus doing okay for himself. That kill puts him at level 7, catches up with the Quap now, who grabs her Power Treads, TPs right back to the lane.
To destroy the one tree that Disruptor's hiding behind.
Poor Disruptor. He's almost level 5. Let's just take a look at...
that did so much damage. That was a bolt and an Arc Lightning, and she lost over half
her health, yeah. That's rough. Looking at hero levels, all the supports pretty even with one another. paiN should have just a general advantage from having this axe dedicated to the jungle, though they've also had to sack their off lane here. So maybe not maximum efficiency. Actually misses this triple stack here in the jungle. It's kind of unfortunate for Tavo. He is halfway to his Blink Dagger, though, at 8 minutes. Not too bad for the axe.
Now, we do have a Tide with pretty high levels, though. He's 6. He's got Bottle and Arcanes, which basically means he can stay in lane and he can harass the Void a lot. So if there's nobody else in the lane, he can very easily keep the Void from killing him. Oh, gank there.
Baga, he might live. No, Zeus comes in with the lightning bolt.
Oh, and a D-Ward. What a lightning bolt. That was a good lightning bolt.
Really was. If Zeus didn't rotate out, I think he would have lived there. They had already used the telekinesis.
Yeah.
As well as the coconuts. So.
I didn't see which way he approached the jungle, but maybe he like smoked around and ran in. I'm not sure. So Tide might be in some trouble soon. Or is that Earth? No, it's actually Axe and he has no HP. So Tide's just going to be as annoying as possible towards the Void now. He just wants to anchor smash him whenever he comes up the last hit and try to decrease his farm, but it's really not doing a whole lot. Void's stupidly farmed right now with a Midas, so...
Smoke rotation towards the top. Earthshaker going to find himself in a sticky situation. Cast goes out. Nothing to bounce to, but we'll stun him up. And time for the telekinesis. Fade Bolt. This is a very awkward gank. Support on support action, and no one dies. And while we're looking at that, we missed the kill mid. Now Quap gets a solo kill on Zeus. She drops her ulti, and it goes right back the other way. HFN taking the advantage.
And that's Zeus with a Gloves of Haste, so I assume that he's going to be making a Midas here to accelerate his farm afterwards and his levels. So many Midases lately, actually.
Yeah, we're going full circle here, back to Midas Gaming. 40Rs has already seen some return on his. Look, is he going for a Battle Fury here?
He must be, because he got a Ring of Health, and that's the only thing it really builds in. He's not going to build a Vanguard or a Hood.
Okay.
He's probably not building a Refresher or a Lincoln's this early. So
this build can be pretty scary. A fast Midas into a fast Battle Fury. He won't have the Battle Fury same time the Anti-Mage has his. Let's see what's coming out on the Courier. It's the Claymore, so there you go.
Yeah.
But give him 10 minutes in the jungle with this, and he will come out bigger, bolder than ever before.
It's not as fast as Anti-Mage can do it, but it's still pretty good. Tide might be in trouble here. He might have to Ravage this if he wants to live. He is almost going to Ravage it, but he actually gets Chronosphered, and we'll see the call immediately afterwards. Maybe Ravage first. There's the Ravage. Oh, they're coming back in. Oh!
paiN Gaming get turned around on here. 2-0.
That's a Void mistake right there, because they were going to call that. He may or may not have caught it, but all that the Void did was delayed the fight for 4 seconds, and that allowed Infinity to shift from the mid lane.
Yep.
And look at that AoE damage, man. That was Static Field paying off. That was Arc Lightning. That was the Thunder God's Wrath. They just got shredded there.
3 points in the Static Field, too. That really hurts.
Yeah.
That is just not the way you want to use the Chrono, especially locking your teammates in. Void just has no damage right now.
And that's the Zeus Midas. He was nowhere close to that, just getting solo killed, and now he's got a Midas already. Like a 11-minute Midas with Soul Ring and Bottle. Like Infinity's gonna wreck now, I think.
Very topsy-turvy game so far, Purge.
I mean, that could have just been a wasted Ravage, and it turned into a double kill.
Yeah. Well, there's your Battle Fury on Anti-Mage. 11 minutes. Great timing for MSS. Does it on Brown Boots, Quelling Blade, Stout Shield, so just basically straight Battle Fury, but
with
great
boots,
timing.
though, which is still... Sometimes people can shave the boots off.
Yeah, so...
It wasn't enough. A Fissure from Earthshaker to try to stop the push accomplishes nothing. And now MSS has the space. There's no tier 1 tower, so people TPing to the lane to go find him in the jungle is very unlikely. And he's very difficult to die. But what's Quap at? Let's see what Quap's building. She has 1 Oblivion Staff and does no more pieces on the Courier. So Quap getting an Orchid is going to be a bit. I think there's a pretty good shot of him having most of a Battle Fury by the time that the Quap gets her Orchid up. So MSS is in a really good spot right now. I don't think he has to worry too bad.
Or the Manta, you mean?
Yeah, because if you guys don't know the interaction, what Manta does is it allows you to spawn illusions, but most importantly, it removes debuffs. So if you get some debuffs, yes. So if you get silenced, you can Manta to remove the silence. If you can't blink like Anti-Mage does, he's a crappy hero, honestly. So Orchid is a really good counter to him, but if he gets Manta style, then he basically is just running free for the rest of the game, unless he gets stunned.
All about that timing window of when the Quap can find an advantage. But it's still a good game for an Orchid outside of the Anti-Mage. Great against the Tidehunter, fabulous against Zeus. Either of these supports, if they get caught out, the Orchid should make it a pretty easy kill for the Quap. So I think still a worthy item pickup, even though it's not really a direct counter to the AM anymore.
So he's thinking about going aggressive on the Void here. There's actually a Disruptor sitting. Disruptor, one problem with his hero is he has really weak damage pre-6, really, because you put so many points into Glimpse. Glimpse actually buffed recently. It costs less mana. One of the nice things about that. And we also have a Rubik sitting in the area. Trying to set up for a kill, but nothing's going to happen. I guess Void's just going to say, back to the jungle. And he's almost got his Battle Fury a little bit later than what Anti-Mage has, but the Midas should pay off.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've still got this other farming tool here that helps you accelerate that much more. And the other nice thing about Battle Fury and Void is it does give him a nice bout of damage to work with. So when you have these 2 items, you've got attack speed, got damage, and opens up a little bit more in terms of solo kill potential for the Void. And, you know, if you get really lucky with those Chronos, they've definitely seen those times where that cleave can allow you to get multiple kills instead of what would have been just a singleton.
Yeah, but it's mostly the attack speed issue that you're having. I mean, he did get a Midas, so he's got attack speed, but he's going to have to get Treads to get his attack speed up, because most of the hero's damage is based on Time Lock as 3rd skill. That's why people were building Mask of Madness on him so much, that Time Lock did more and more bashes during a chrono duration. So it's a bit different to go Battle Fury here. It's a really old build, and most people would maybe say it's the wrong build, but he did get it at a really fast time.
Don't worry, I'm sure. I mean, 2 things I would say is, 1, I think that First Blood might have influenced this choice to get the build. If you get that super fast Midas, it makes it a little more tempting. But
I would agree.
I think you may still get the Mask of Madness. Just greed it up even more. Accelerate the farm. Why the hell not?
You kind of have to. And another good thing about the Battle Fury is it's a good counter against Tide, because Tide is damage block and reduces damage. So if you have a higher plus damage rather than higher attack speed, then you should do more. I think that math is correct. Queen of Pain killing Zeus on the mid lane. That was a Fissure.
He just dies so fast. Fissure into the Sonic Wave.
Did steal a Sonic Wave, though. Level 2, by the way. So Rubik could basically gank whoever he wants. Probably a 2-man gank on anybody. Maybe even the Quap mid. And that's a mech on Tide, actually. No blink here. Are they going to go for it? Can he get the lift? They're going to have to Ravage for this. Here's the lift.
Okay, there's
yeah.
That is...
big kill. Look at that. MJW's like, yeah, we just killed you. I'm gonna check to see if there happens to be anybody coming for this. Like that's how confident he was.
TP back up top. MJW. Oh, he might get punished now. He TP's very aggressively. Chronosphere's there after the Berserker's call. Bash hits him in the bubble, and they should have more than enough damage. There's the slam dunk from Tavo. Was a great play from eHug, but unfortunately ends up being a 1-for-1.
I was like, oh, he's gonna be fine. Then the chrono happened, and he was like really dead at that point. So that was the old super adrenaline from getting the kill. I'm gonna TP to lane and defend this because I've got a double damage. But then he just got chronoed, and it's just so much damage. The double hit from the time lock just cuts right through your armor, your damage block and stuff. So maybe if you got an anchor smash before the chrono, it would have been okay. But that was just too greedy for him. So, oh well. Still killing the Quap was really good, I think. He's still in an okay place, and the mech is going to help a lot in terms of keeping him survivable against heroes like Axe. So.
And now the Earthshaker gets himself Arcane Boots, so things getting a little better for paiN Gaming supports. Disruptor is level 7. I don't think we've seen a Static Storm yet, but...
I don't think so either. He hasn't done that much this game. He's 0, 2, and 3, but I don't doubt that he can do a lot now. It's really, you get level 6 on Disruptor, and then the magic happens. Pre-7 or pre-6, it's a little weird.
So Quap closing in on the Orchid, just about 100, 200 gold away.
How's our...
Mantis style going to be slowed down. He goes for the Vlad's offering. So this extends the window that MSS could be susceptible to ganks.
Spotted? Oh, good timing there. That was really... Oh!
Can they get vision for the glimpse?
Nope. Oh, actually, they might have been able to, but they got scared as soon as they didn't catch him. It was worth backing.
Glimpse back on MJW. Okay, they go defensive here, but now Baga in trouble. Gets blown up by the AM.
AM hits hard, man. This could be an Axe kill as well. They're going to drain his mana first. That's going to be most of his mana. No dunks for him. Anti-Mage versus Axe is so good. This is one of the reasons they picked him. If his mana gets drained, it just really limits his hero. This should be a dead Earthshaker. The haste really paying off here.
Yep, Rubik gonna chase him down on his broom. Fly, Rubik, fly. MSS picks up a couple of kills there. Up top, HFN will TP home. A huge swing of momentum for Team eHug. That's a 2K net worth trade. Or really, it's a gain in their favor. Orchid comes out on Quap, but 6-9. eHug showing they have a sign of life as Anti-Mage gets bigger.
I think that's really going to push MSS in a safe place for the rest of the game. I mean, Vlad's isn't a fantastic item to have versus a silencer, but it is still a silencer as in Quap. But it's still 5 armor, and 5 armor is like 30% survivability against physical damage. So while he will take a lot more magic here, the right clicks from Quap that accompanies that Orchid is going to be quite lessened, and he's going to guarantee that he's at full HP the whole time. So, and he probably will just stay off the map a lot. I mean, he can farm jungles, he can farm that enemy jungle. He'll be fairly safe to do that. He's almost got 2k gold again, which is going to actually get him towards that mantle style. So I think MSS is in a really good spot right now, and they've got Ravage up. They can still take fights if they want to. They're sitting really safe.
Yeah, paiN Gaming, though, not without resources of their own. Tavo now has a Blink Dagger Vanguard on his axe, so he's a little bigger and badder. 4DR, now with a Mask of Madness, so a lot more solo kill potential.
He can definitely solo kill the AM right now, I think, especially with a bit more damage from anybody else.
Yeah.
And they're going to find the Rubik. Rubik is super dead. Goodbye, Rubik.
Yeah, walks from the low ground right up into darkness, and there's a whole enemy.
Look at that Berserker's Call. He's doing stuff. Faux Fissure. He's actually turning things a bit. If his teammates get here, they get some kills. Oh, is that a missed dunk? It was.
It was a missed dunk. Chronosphere is what I was looking at, but it's just on the Witch Doctor.
Got an Invis Tide, by the way. We could see somebody get killed here big time.
Yeah, they take out only the supports. I don't know. Is it worth a chrono at this stage of the game for just the solo Witch?
Void is so dangerous. There's the Ravage. They're going to try for it. Backtrack. There's a little bit. He gets out. I think the Ravage got backtracked, but I mean, that's not too unexpected. He's going to backtrack something. They had about like 6 sources of damage there. The chance of him not backtracking, none of that was just so low.
Yeah.
Greedy play there. It didn't pay off.
Yeah. 40R barely lives, though. It was a close one. I think worth it to roll the dice. Meanwhile, MSS is in the Roche pit, so I guess you could call all of that space created to make sure the Anti-Mage gets what he needs, and that's an uncontested Roshan here at the 19-minute mark.
It's like Orchid, whatever, I don't care. He's got a Yasha now, if he notices it didn't transfer.
You have to dump that Stout Shield.
It's definitely time to dump the Stout Shield, I agree.
Well, a little pressure in the dire jungle still. 40R farming here. MJW scouts it out. He's on the high ground here. They've got some intel. Ryuzaw on his way down, but Void time walks over the ravine and heads right into his Ancients, where he's got a triple stack ready and waiting with his name on it. Faceless Void farm here, and he'll get a nice boost to his bottom line.
that's really increasing his GPM here. And his stats are pretty similar to what Anti-Mage's got, except he's got 2 kills instead of 1. But he also has the Midas. I don't know, what's the net worth look like? It's actually Void slightly ahead. I think that Anti-Mage is going to go ahead of him pretty soon here, since AIM can move around the map quicker with Blink.
Yeah.
The only other thing I really want to mention is like how many invisible runes Tidehunter's gotten. He went mech first, and he keeps getting these really good Ravages off. They haven't always gotten kills, but he's gotten to use Ravage in a lot of really good situations so far. He's gotten kind of lucky with the runes this game, but a lot of it's been in the right place at the right time.
And now he's closing in on Blink, 1,800 gold. He'll start to clear out the jungle. So these Ravages have paid off at least some degree, if not just for space creation, for him to find some farm alongside his Anti-Mage.
Yeah, maybe this is just the bottle paying off. If you find an invis, you save it until it's a good time to use it. Yeah. Maybe this is why it seems like he's always in a good spot.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So Orchid is finished on Quap. He's got a point booster as well. It'll be Ags next. Ags increases the pure damage that you're doing with your Sonic Wave, and also, most importantly, drastically reduces the cooldown. So you can become a pretty much ganking machine. But it seems like eHug has been in a pretty safe position. The only hero we really got caught was Rubik, but that was like a 5-man smoke, and he made them take forever to kill him.
Yeah.
Well done by him.
Void is hiding in the tree line down bottom. He's got the axe on the way. It looks like they may have a go at MSS here. There we go. Berserker's call to have it started.
Here before he blinks.
Chrono, nicely placed. Tavo doesn't get caught in it. Does 40R have the damage?
Wow.
He might have, but he doesn't go for it. The TP reaction's there, and, well, 4 heroes from eHug now in the bottom lane.
That was so significant that he didn't die there, because they put a Chronosphere into that, so there's no Chronosphere now. This gives eHug a huge timing window to still have Aegis. I thought at least they were going to burn Aegis, but I mean, there weren't a whole lot of creeps there, so they didn't get a lot of physical damage output, and the Spell Shield really paying off there, plus all the armor. He just didn't die to the Chronosphere, and the Axe didn't do that much damage either, so it's basically just a really big mistake from paiN, and that guarantees the tier 1 bottom. They can't defend that, so...
Did he get into dunk range? If Axe had hung around a little longer, was there a chance at like a dunk blink to get out?
There was, but I mean,
he is level 11 now.
It was
close.
Yeah, it stayed a really long time, anyways, and it was close to a tier 2. So I think they had to get out.
Okay. Well, they trade tier 1 for tier 1, mid for bottom, and now paiN move up top to try and get this tier 2. It's already been glyphed, but Tidal waddle his big body in, and Void wants no part of that. Tower goes into deny range. This should be an easy deny for MJW. Unless he gets bested by Cardi here, Purge. The battle of the carts.
Oh, nice one.
Okay, he gets it.
Looks like a catapult does about 25 damage or something like that. Good to know.
Yeah.
For the future.
Here we go. MSS goes right in on 4DR, but Tavo's there. Remember, he still has the Aegis, plenty of time. Man. Huge ulti from Trout. It gets interrupted, but still does a good bit of damage. Tavo running through the Static Storm, very low on HP. MSS has a Mana Void here, but wants to save it for later in this engagement in case he needs it. 2-0 in the Radiant Jungle. 2 cores go down. Axe and Faceless Void. AM getting a lot out of that fight.
It was a really nice little fight there from Trouf on the Witch Doctor. Not only did he drop a really good ulti while he was slightly outside of range, but most importantly, while they're all silenced, he kept right-clicking the axe to prevent the blink. So that was really a heads-up play from him that allowed MSS to catch up until the silence was gone, and then they secured the kill. And that they still haven't lost the Aegis. Like, if they just would have maybe brought one more hero with to gank the Anti-Mage the one time,
wasted Ravage mid. Quap blinks out.
Oh, wow.
They ravaged a solo Quap and it doesn't connect. HFN with the fast fingers. That, even if that connects on the Quap, I guess if you can blow her up that fast, maybe it's worth it. But
and they could also, well, he didn't even have Thunder God's Wrath. They actually weren't going to kill that guy.
Yeah,
I feel like MJW's playing a little bit shooting from the hip. This game is the best way.
Yeah, a little too liberal with his ravages. I'd say it's.
I just don't see them getting that kill unless they do like a bolt into Yules and do another bolt or something. But the chances of that, I think, are just so low. They weren't going to kill that guy, I don't think, without Zeus ult, at least.
Yeah. MSS, after the Manta style, already another 2,800 gold. Ags is also up on the Queen of paiN. Both sides finding some decent item progression here.
Might catch the Rubik, putting a ward on the high ground. He's going to see that he's in a really bad spot, and he's like, oh, time to TP out.
But they don't see him. He just TPs home. Now MSS comes in. He just wants to drop Baga. This could be costly. No more Aegis.
Zeus ult.
Baga goes down. He has to get out of the Static Storm. He gets stunned.
Oh, if Quap can chase, here comes the... Oh, the Chrono catches him. That's it.
Yeah, he's down.
So Aegis ran out at the wrong time for him.
Yeah,
he did a lot of damage, but really fast reactions from his team to back him up. That was basically Axe getting a good blink call, kept him alive.
If he has Aegis there, that's a perfectly fine play. I think just not paying close attention to that timer, realizing it expired basically as he started that fight. So Unfortunate.
Well, things are looking a little bit better for paiN now. I mean, the game wasn't looking very strong for them early, but a couple missed Ravages, and finally MSS going down. We've got Earthshaker close to a Blink Dagger. He's only about 400 away from that. It's not looking too bad. I think Axe needs to get a BKB so he doesn't get mana drained by the AM in the team fights. And other than that, they're sitting pretty good. I mean, they still have good damage from the Void, who's really farmed. He's got a BKB of his own, so he doesn't have to worry about Anti-Mage either, except for some physical damage issues, which will be solved later as he grabs some more items. But
yeah, it seems like Tavo will take heed to that advice. Has himself an Ogre Club with 1,000 gold to go. So not that far away from his BKB. 2,000 or so.
And Infinity, interesting item build. Yule's first, which is to help him stay survivable against the Quap, because if Quap was able to gap close and then silence, then he would just die. So he needs to be able to remove the silence or Yule's the Quap and escape. And then he got a Blink Dagger, which allows him to be more mobile and counteract what Quap is dealing with. She might go on him here. And he's also got a Boots of Travel, so now he's running really, really fast. Essentially 2 movement speed items, both Boots of Travel and Yule's. And they're going to go try to get a kill with just 2. Interesting. This is an Ags on Witch Doctor, by the way. He went no Maledict, just levels a heal with stun, which works out fine. And they're going to find a very easy kill on Disruptor.
Yep, they drop the Zeus ult, get a little intel for the team. Disruptor actually drops his ult as well. Yeah. Meanwhile, in the dire jungle, Rubik goes down to HFN. MJW is here, and...
All right, let's theorycraft the hell out of this team fight. We got time.
All right, so there is a Ravage on the Tide. He wanted to Ravage that Quap. You could tell he was like, oh, no, I'm not doing that again.
Pretty low.
So he'll save it. 40 yard gets off the Berserker's Call. It's still got about half duration left.
He's got a mech as well, so we've got a little bit more survivability, but the TPs are coming. Infinity's at about half mana, but in his Soul Ring is pretty empty, but I mean, if he does get chronoed here, Infinity's gonna be there very shortly. He's almost got a blink off cooldown. He's gonna do some damage. He's gonna have to pop BKB. I think Tide's gonna be just fine here. And they also still have Witch Doctor ulti. So I think Tide's gonna be fine here.
He should be. When does he use the Ravage is really the question. There's also Chrono. It barely catches MJW. There's Sonic Wave just for the Tide. He's already mech'd. Can he Ravage? He still can. The follow-up there. MJW is still alive. It's Trout with the Death Ward. And paiN Gaming feel the pain of this dire squad. Somehow the Tide Hunter lives.
Man, he must have been slamming his fist down on that Ravage button. That was so close. Really, really big save there. I completely forgot about the Quap there. The Quap ulti almost finished him, but they got the damage out just in time. Wow, that was close.
Okay.
Talk about eHug team to the rescue there. That was so close.
Really was. Now a Blink Dagger comes out onto the Earthshaker for the Radiant side. That'll help their high ground defense, but they're about to lose this tier 2 in the mid. MSS happy just to tank it up with Johnny Walker on his backside, healing him up with the Voodoo Restoration. And
no Disruptor ulti is the issue.
Yeah, he wasted it before he died. Oh, there's
big
the dunk. And the Sonic Wave to follow up. They drop the Zeus, but now the counterplay is here. Manta's used by the Anti-Mage. Does a fight actually continue to break out? Nope, doesn't seem like it.
That was a really slick gank there. I really like that. They did a good job on that. Super solid. They got the range fissure, and then they fall. Or actually, it was a blink echo, excuse me, and a couple other stuns, and the Quaff followed up as well. So I don't think Infinity expected to die there, and he didn't even get unstunned long enough to Yules. So if he had an eggs, maybe he would have lived there, but for the HP. But really nicely done there. Nice little comeback kill. But it's still really scary because, I mean, MSS is farming his jungle right now, but he could very easily be in the enemy jungle, I think.
And he's up to about 5,000 gold. So this last fight is MSS with items that were so 10 minutes ago. And he's about to invest into something big. It's a Reaver. So he's going Heart. He wants just to tank up and be that frontliner for his team.
Yep. The Heart's so important because if he does get chronoed, 1,000 extra HP is going to do just such a major difference between having like 1,800 HP to having 3k HP. Like basically Void needs 50% more damage to be able to get the kill. And we're gonna see a fight here. There's a lift.
Oh, here we go. No Ravage available, but Disruptor just melts under the pressure. They ping out Roche, but it'll be a max respawn just about. And they'll have to wait another minute and a half, maybe a bit longer, a minute 45 before they can take this one.
The Rubik really showing this game that you don't need Blink to play Rubik effectively. Like, he's just out in front waiting to lift somebody. He got him. He's doing a nice job this game. 12 sitting 4-1 and 3. He's gonna find an Observer Ward with the Sentry. Oh, might not get spotted though. They didn't check the region. Maybe, hopefully they'll find that later.
Yeah, this little guy. That's unfortunate. Back towards the mid. There's a Chronosphere available. 40R. BKB is online now at Demon Edge.
Yeah.
Probably a MKB.
It's probably an MKB.
I think he's assuming there's a butterfly. Yeah.
It's got to be that, because even if Anti-Mage doesn't build a butterfly now, he'll probably build it for a 6th item, almost guaranteed, and then later sell his Vlads for something else. Most like an Abyssal Blade or a BKB or something. But you kind of need that hit just to guarantee that you've got it. And eHug has no idea where paiN is. Their wards are okay. Well, they have 1 ward, actually. They have a ward, but they're not going to spot... they don't know where they are, so they're like, alright, let's find out. Drop the ult.
Okay.
Almost... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, are they about to smoke up here? They're all grouped up in the jungle like they want to. There it is.
It's very smart. They just use Zeus ult, so they say, okay, there's 1 less ult we have to deal with. Let's go find a kill.
Oh, but it's going to get
revealed.
revealed.
MSS blinks into 5.
Chrono.
Holy crap, overkill.
And Sonic Wave. And the ultimate from Baga. And the dunk.
Wow.
The double dunk. They dropped all of their ultimates to make that happen.
Oh, he still wants to fight. MJW does not care. Great Witch Doctor ulti. Not going to finish off the Queen of paiN, though, and that's the end of that fight. So
for now, at least, MJW, he's not done yet. He's off by himself. Look at this. Now he gets silenced. The rest of his team comes in. Now they kill the Quap as Infinity joins the party. Gush onto 40R. No time walk for another 8 seconds or so. This baby's going down if they can connect with a disable. Fissure breaks things up, but Rubik has a Blink Dagger.
Oh, the Yules messes it up.
Into a Yules. The Glimpse back. Whoa, Void. It's stolen by Ryu. He wants this.
Oh, he backtracked.
What a time for a backtrack.
Oh my god, 2 backtracks. I can't believe it.
Void, you lucky dog. Baga might live as well. That could have been so much worse for paiN. They bring down the Anti-Mage, but it does not come for free.
Yeah, eHug did a really nice job. Oh, there it is. eHug did a great job there, cleaning up after that fight. I didn't think they were going to be able to get anything out of it because the Anti-Mage died for nothing other than ultis, but I guess that's, that's some value right there. They used Chronosphere, they used Static Storm, they used Quap ult. Not that Quap ult didn't come back up, but...
I mean, Axe was really feeling that adrenaline, as you put it before. He just... He was charging in there, he was on the enemy high ground, just like, alright, who wants to fight? I'm so ready for this. And, well, Tide was ready as well. He had that Ravage.
Yeah, he just ran at them. I was like, he is making a mistake. But then Infinity came out of nowhere, blinked in, got the pickup on the, I think, support, one of them. They did a really nice job cleaning up there. Really good game sense.
Yeah. So now eHug will be treated to a Roshan kill, 31 minutes in. And this will be another Aegis going the way of MSS, who has picked up his Heart of Tarrasque.
Oh, might see a fight.
They'll try to contest this. Tava wants to come in. He's got the BKB.
Oh, this is actually going to get hard. He's going to call.
Here comes the Void. Roche. Huge death ward, though, from the top of the hill. Radiant gets the last hit on Roche, but where's the Aegis? Void is the one to pick it up. Now he goes down. They've lost their Axe. Rubik has also fallen. Void's coming back up. No Chronosphere. Johnny Walker in some trouble. Anti-Mage. Is he going to reinitiate here? No.
It's a really big Aghanim's ulti coming out of Trough there, but it wasn't quite enough. Oh, Infinity gets caught just barely.
Oh, this is going to be another one.
Wow, that looked like it was terrible for eHug, then it looked really good, and now it's bad again.
That was a really chaotic fight.
Yeah.
So, Roche died to the Radiant. Void was the one to grab the Aegis, and then he died. So the Aegis is gone.
He must have dropped one of his items and then picked it up again.
I was just thinking that. It must
I was like, what did he hold?
I wonder, it must have been his boots.
Midas
the boots or the
something.
Midas, one or the other.
So, but the Witch Doctor ulti in some ways really saved the later stages of the game because now there's no Aegis, so now eHug doesn't have to worry about playing around that. So they can just go back to playing normal here.
Yeah. Tide working on the Refresher, has an Oblivion Staff, still a ways off, but getting some good progress. And interesting to see the Void going for the crit, though. He gets Daedalus instead of the MKB.
Okay. This is good, too. It's really good against Anti-Mage. If you get MKB procs are actually magical damage. So if you get a Daedalus, you're just boosting your physical damage massively. So it's going to help him kill that Anti-Mage big time.
Yeah. That's a good point. That magic damage against the spell shield, not ideal.
Yeah, definitely not. So that'll be a pretty good damage item for him. And he's actually jungling stupidly fast with this as well. If you think about the interaction with Battle Fury, crit is really good with Battle Fury because the amount of damage that you can actually do in an AoE, if we think about a Kunkka situation, obviously this is much less cleave, but if you get the good crits in, you're doing a lot of pure damage in an AoE. Is that a dead Witch Doctor?
Yep, HFN drops his ulti, the full rotation, and just nothing the Witch Doctor can do, and he gets jumped on and orchided right away.
He actually bought Boots of Travel on Witch Doctor, which you could maybe criticize here. Maybe if he got something like a Ghost Scepter, he could have lived, or maybe a Force Staff, something like that. Ghost Scepter is actually not too bad against Quap anymore.
Yeah,
because the ultimate does
item.
pure damage, so it doesn't get boosted by Ghost. It's just Scream as well as Dagger. It's probably not worth it either way, but Force would be better. But he opted for the BOTs, so I don't know.
Tavo hiding nearby in the tree line, ready to make the jump if eHug stepped too far forward. The rest of his team nearby. They've got everything up. Sonic Wave just now cooling down. Perhaps trying to find a fight without this Witch Doctor, who's now become a huge damage dealer for the Dire side with that Aghanims. I
feel that this looks really good for paiN, though. I keep almost saying Panic, because I look at their name and I'm like, oh, it's definitely Panic.
Yeah, the RC throws it off.
Yeah, I feel like paiN is in a really good spot right now. The Void itemized really well against the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage has died a couple times. He's gotten a lot of farm, but he hasn't really gotten a lot of kills in fights. And Infinity as well has died a couple times. I actually went Bloodstone, not Aghanims first, so opting for a ton of mana regen, but most importantly the HP boost. And they're trying to swing around right now.
This is an awkward angle from eHug. They need to be very careful how they do this. Witch Doctor's isolated by himself. Ravage comes in, catches on HFN.
Oh,
he
man.
BKBs, just barely live. Disruptor goes down. He does use his ulti, the Chronosphere as well, but where's the core of this fight breaking out? It's the Quap and the Earthshaker that go down to the Witch Doctor from the wraparound. 40R finds the Rubik. He's BKB'd up. Time walk across. He doesn't have a TP. He's isolated. Tavo, he TP's out, says, see you later, Void. I'm getting the hell out of here.
The Void counter. Trees.
Yep. Nowhere for the Void to go. He can't see what he's doing. Mana Void to bring him down. Does that entire fight end as a 1-for-4? Any buybacks used? No. It's eHug that take a dominating exchange.
That was just really good setup from eHug. We had the Witch Doctor swing all the way around. He cleaned up the Quap kill that would have gotten away, and that could have changed the fight if she was able to re-engage. He also did damage on somebody else with his ultimate, maybe Earthshaker or something like that. But the only thing bad that happened was that Void spent all of his BKB duration killing the Rubik, so Rubik did a great job staying alive even that long. I think there was a Chrono as well. There was a lot, like, it was a very spread fight.
That was really...
The issue is paiN couldn't coordinate everything and just do a wombo combo. Just really good team fight from eHug there. Good spread.
At first I thought paiN might catch half of eHug. Whenever you do those wraparounds where you have like one guy coming in this way, two guys coming in this way, sometimes you can end up in a 5v3 situation when your Witch Doctor is still trying to do the wraparound, and this time it worked out, but that was a risky way to go about that exchange.
Yeah, it is really tough, actually. It's very difficult not to get engaged on, but they had good smokes. Even with good ward vision from paiN there, they still weren't able to collapse the right way.
So MJW closing in on his refresher now. He's just one piece away, either a Void Stone or a Ring of Health.
His KDA is pretty good, too, considering how aggressive he's played all game.
2-2 and 11.
He's doing a nice job. But level 3 Ravage now, it's a big stun. 2.77 seconds. If you get 2 of those, you're talking about almost 800 magic damage in an AoE, plus 5 seconds of stun. It's actually a decent nuke if you think about it that way, but the most important part is that you're basically Chronosphere in the entire enemy team.
Yeah.
Assuming you can initiate on them. So.
And Anti-Mage has another 4,300 gold. And maybe Butterfly out next. I think especially since Void didn't get MKB, he's got to be tempted for that Butterfly. Meanwhile, up top, Baga and Ryu Zog going to bump into each other. Who's got support inbound?
Ooh, level 1 Thunderstrike. Careful, guys.
Yum.
Watch out for those ganks.
Double damage Infinity on his way.
He's got Blink in 3. Ooh, it's got to be careful. There's the ulti. He spots Zeus as well. Or, I'm sorry, the axe. And he's going to give up. He's good.
Yeah, they don't go for anything. So the rest of eHug grouped up in the bottom lane. There's only 1 or 2 outer towers remaining, 1 for each side, tier 2 in the mid and a tier 2 up top. Both teams kind of stalemated here as we get through this mid game. Figure out the right angle to try and take an edge. Maybe it'll just come down to the next Roche, whoever feels more comfortable moving into the pit. But neither team really with a good option to try and break high ground or really shut down the opposition. Trial farming very deep right now.
Bit of a misstack there by Zeus. Don't you hate that when static field like pulls creeps that you don't mean to move?
Yes.
It's obnoxious. His Midas is super paiN off though. I mean, he's only got 189 CS, but look at his net worth. It's actually the same as Quap. And Quap's KDA, I guess his KDA is still really good, but it's paiN off. He's going to get a Sheepstick next most likely, which will be really, really useful.
Yeah, Scythe is great on Quap. Gives you all the stats you need for your right clicks.
It's actually on Zeus, I think. Does she have one too?
Yeah, she's got an orb.
Dang.
Oh, you're talking about Zeus? We're talking about 2 different heroes.
She's really close. She's closer than he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is really good on Quap. She leverages the damage a lot better than Zeus does, that's for sure.
Yep. So, 2 sites. Great on both sides. Never a bad item to have. There's your biggin, though. The big kahuna. Refresher orb on the Tidehunter.
So no more mana problems for him. He's got a Force Staff as well, by the way. He's actually really farmed. He's doing a great job. Only item that he's maybe missing next is a Shiva's Guard would be really good. Reduce the attack speed of the Void. You can double cast it when you refresh, or you can ravage. You can ravage Shiva, refresher Shiva ravage. Like, you know how much damage it is? It's like 1200 AoE magic damage at the size of a ravage. That's actually insane.
Yeah. 4DR has another Demon Edge picked up. I think this one will be the MKB. I don't think we're quite in Rapier territory yet.
On the Void?
Yep.
I guess we could.
It's not on the Courier.
Rapiers aren't very good on Anti-Mage because his illusions don't benefit from it.
Yeah.
And he usually has too many items. Like right now he's got a Butterfly, but he'd also love to have like an AC and an Abyssal Blade and a Rapier and all this other, and an MKB. Anti-Mage is actually a bit has item problems.
Oh, 4DR, he gets caught out at the Ancients. There's Ravage number 1. They come in. Refresher Orb has been used.
Oh, man.
Now the Chrono. 4DR dropping that hammer on NJW. They've got more than enough damage. Now Void, he'll live. The rest of the fight breaks out. Call from... Oh my god, this is just a massacre. The Void's cleaning it up. Earthshaker goes down as MSS is the lone survivor here. Can he clean up this team? Now Johnny Walker gets dunked. Void back towards the well. MSS still looking for pickoffs. It's a 1 for 3. They only get the Earthshaker. Now he'll have forward. He finds Tavo. Okay, they start cleaning it up a little more. A 2 for 3. Would have been such a different fight if they could have killed that Void, but just didn't have the damage for it.
It wasn't the damage, it was the Fissure, actually. It was a sick play from Earthshaker. Like, he was going to double Ravage if he needed to, but the Fissure landed on all 3 heroes, and it gave Void enough time to BKB and pop his ulti. And once his ulti was down, he was saved, and he was able to kill the Tide before Tide got a second Ravage off. Like, that's the only circumstances that you're ever going to see Tide not double Ravage is either Static Storm or he gets Chronosphere. That's the only way. So super big Fissure, stopped the chain of damage and the chain of stuns, and allowed him to actually contribute to the fight. So that was a big play from Earthshaker. That would have been like Rax losing there, or buyback forcing. That actually would have been Rax losing. Unless he just bought this MKB, I'm not sure. But
he just bought the MKB right now, I believe.
So he probably would have had buyback, but he would have had to buy back if that Fissure wasn't there.
Yeah. Quap also finds her Scythe of Vice, so things still continuing on here in this slugfest of a game, 20-26, in a relatively even fashion. It's eHug with an advantage. They've been holding on to this small golden experience edge at this point, becoming less relevant. Roshan has Respawn. This is Roche 3, Aegis and Cheese, and eHug will take the advantage here. Radiant have no wards down on the map.
They smoke, though.
They seem to be suspicious. I don't know if they'll get here in time. Roche... falling very
We're going to have a
quickly.
Gush on Tide right now, which is going to accelerate things by a lot. Is he going to Gush it? No, he's not going to be able to. The Lincolns is back up. It's going to be close.
They're going to get here just in the nick of time.
Are we going to see the Axe Call? Here it comes. There it is, Axe Call. This could be it. Maybe a Chronosphere comes in. There's a Chronosphere going to MJ, but he's dead. No Ravages coming out. MSS. Static Storm as well. They can't do anything.
Oh my, Cheese goes down. Roche falls to the Radiant. Aegis gets picked up by Void. It doesn't get much worse than that if you're an eHug fan.
Oh my gosh.
That hurts. Cheese still down in the pit, and it's not done yet. Ryuzaw, he's going to get finished off as well. The Fissure will finish him off. It's a 4-0. Not even a trade around the Roche pit. Just a massacre as paiN come cruising in. The paiN train is real, Purge.
They got Cheese. They got Aegis. Like, the Void dropped his boots and was like, Aegis, man. I've got a Mask of Manus. I don't need boots. Like, what a big swing. And you know what's pretty significant about that? If we just had a Gush on Roche there, he broke the Lincolns with his Gush. If he actually had Gush, they probably would have killed that in time.
Yeah, would have been a completely different fight. Now, Anti-Mage does have buyback here. Tide does not. He has 1 Ravage available, Refresher in 15.
He's pretty much got 2.
Yeah, he'll have both when he comes up, but how much damage can they do in the meantime? This is 1 lane of barracks down. They've got another 20 seconds. Do they play this safe and just back out? Do they go for another lane? Void goes for a tier 3 tower before the barracks are even dead. paiN want to do crippling damage here and maybe force a buyback on this anti-mage if it's in the cards.
I think they can maybe take 2. Oh, that's going to be a dead Wish Doctor.
Wow. Walker goes down. Oh, wasted Sonic Wave, but not the end of the world. Void uses his BKB, jumps onto Ryuzaw. Now they go back for some more objective gaming. NJW is stuck inside of the kinetic field Static Storm. No Ravage coming out here. 4DR put inside of a Yules, but he's got a Time Walk. Ravage, MJW saving it for now. And off on the other side, the Earthshaker goes in. Ravage number 1. Okay, they bring down the Aegis. They may find the Disruptor kill, but BKB's on the Queen of paiN. MJW, Ravage number 2. Tavo on his way in. He's holding the Ravage for now, being very patient. They're spread out, not finding a good opening for it. 4DR comes in. There's another Chrono. MSS, he's dead again. Rubik goes down. MJW may fall before he can ravage. It's the
What a
last-ditch
ravage.
effort, but stolen from the Rubik. Oh my! Wait, was it stolen from the Rubik?
No, that was just a super sick Tide Ravage. It caught all 4 and
Holy
cleaned
shit.
up on the Quap, I think, and the Disruptor, who bought back. What a close fight.
The way he scooted like that, it looked like one Ravage and a second one right after. Then I noticed the Rubik was dead.
Yeah, it was the Force Staff on
Yeah,
it.
the Force Staff on him. That was a pretty clutch Ravage. And now eHug in a lot of trouble. A lot of buybacks been used here. One on the Quap, one on the
no,
Earthshaker as
Infinity
well.
can't die here.
Infinity and MJW, they can go down.
He's super dead there.
Oh my!
I think Witch Doctor ulti doing anything. Earthshaker's gonna live, and yeah, Infinity goes down. He's dead
No
for
more
55
buybacks
seconds.
available.
And I
This is
think
game.
that is gonna be game. Wow. Literally, the major difference here was Roshan dying and the Aegis going to paiN. If
I mean, just
eHug
look at
just
the
took
gold
that, like, is the gold ref ridiculous? What a comeback.
Is it ridiculous? He says.
It jumps by 10k. That's actually a 15k jump more like. That's an insane comeback there.
That is
like
nuts.
eHug had this game in the bag, I'm telling you guys. But because they got to that Roche just in time, literally 2 seconds would have made the difference. They got the Aegis, they got the cheese, and then they just got such big advantage from it, and they're just continuing to kill eHug, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, there's
5 dead heroes. That's a triple Rex. It's extremely
GG.
hard to come back from that. That's a good game. eHug has got to feel bad from that one because they played really well here. I mean, paiN obviously played fantastic, but the difference was literally killing Roche a bit faster, and if he would have gushed and not broken that Lincoln's, Roche would have died. MSS would have had Aegis. They could have won that fight instead of the Void coming back from the dead. Like, man, how different that would have been with just 2 seconds of DPS or a medallion or something like that. Like, man, Roche dying slightly faster just would have changed that whole thing.
I mean, both two Roshans. The same thing happened earlier. Not exactly the same, but paiN scooped in, took a team fight. That time they even took the Aegis and sniped the last hit. You got to be careful around that Roche pit.
Or
man.
maybe keep somebody out to stop the axe from blinking. And I don't even know if they had ward vision. I think he was smoked, so it's pretty tough. Yeah, they were all smoked, so it's pretty tough either way. But maybe they should have sat Tide outside or something to like break the smoke. But then he could have gone to Chronos. It's just hard. Like, they just had to do a little bit faster, and they could have had it.
All right, well, that's game number 1, folks. It's a best-of-3 series, so stick around. Game 2 right around the corner. paiN Gaming up 1-0 over Team eHug.